Hey, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Happy hump day for some people. I wanted to, thank you for coming on to this video. Thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. I know you don't have to take out time out of your day to watch any of my videos, but you do, and if that is you, I really thank you and I appreciate it. So anyways, I wanted to come to you and talk just very quickly about kind of what the Lord was. He's been telling me this maybe a couple of weeks, not a couple of weeks, a couple of days now, maybe from like last week. But it was like, I felt like the Lord was saying to say, get in the game. Like, I guess there's two people that I'm talking to right now. There's the person who feels like they're doing a lot of work. They're working hard. It feels to you like you are working harder than other people and you don't see any results in your life. It seems like maybe you can't get above water. You can't get, past check to check. You can't save anything. You can't do anything. And, I understand where you're coming from. I understand being in that place. I do understand. And so I'm talking to that person, but then I'm also talking to the person who's on the sideline and speculating. And so you're watching everyone else do different things in their life. You're watching them on social media. You're watching what they do, how they do it. Some people are very successful at what they're doing. Some people are trying new things. Some people are whatever it is, trying new things or doing great things. You're watching it, but you're not actually putting any effort into your own life and what you could be doing. So that particular person, both particular people, I would say, may want more, may want to do more, may want to have a better life. But unlike the one who is working really hard and can't seem to get ahead, the other person is not doing much at all, but is really just watching everyone else do it. And so you want a particular life, but instead of understanding that the life that you want really is in your hands, you are maybe judging or finding a way to justify the other people. And so maybe that looks like, they are just lucky, or they you got to know people and they must know people, they must have connections. Or it could be, you're looking at them like all they think about is money, and life is much more life is about more than just money or this or that. And sometimes people do that to feel good about not being in a place of prosperity, if you will, right? And so you don't have to hate on nobody. You don't have to do that. A lot of the times you really just have to play your part. And the Lord is saying, get in the game. Stop sitting on the sidelines watching everybody else, speculating about everybody else, turning your nose up at everybody else and feeling insecure about where you are. Change your perspective, change your posture, the posture of your heart, and you will see the goodness of the Lord. So out of both of these two people, the question is are you committing your life to the Lord, right? So the person who is trying really hard and working really hard and just can't seem to make ends meet, it could very well be perspective. It could be just a change of the way that you position things. So for example, Proverbs 16:3 says, commit your works to the Lord and your plans will be established. So what does that mean? Well, everything that you're doing, if you're the person that's working and it doesn't seem like you're getting ahead, well, you commit everything that you're doing to the Lord. So what does that mean? That means being faithful to the Lord. That means doing what you do as unto the Lord. Because ultimately, if you don't understand this, if you're following Christ, then your boss is Him. And so He's the one who can see your faithfulness. He will see your faithfulness even when it looks like, even when you're hiding. You may be hiding the things that you're not doing right in front of your actual physical boss, but God can see everything. So doing the work that you do as unto the Lord, right? Committing it to the Lord, being faithful to the Lord, being faithful in your life and your actions, in what you do, how you do it, being faithful, you know, if that means for you tithing, fine, you know, then make sure you're tithing. You know, but committing whatever you do to the Lord. So if you're cleaning up a place, if your responsibility is to clean up a place, but doing your very, very best, because you know that the Lord is the one who is the promoter. He's the one who will promote you. He is the one who will open doors for you and put you in places and situations that you can never do yourself. And in the world, if you will, it's like there's an understanding or mentality that it's all about who you know. But in the kingdom, the only one that you really need to know is the Lord. He will set up everything else. So he's like the key. But if you don't understand that and you're not living for the Lord and committing your works to the Lord, then you're living in the world in the way that the world does things. And in that case, you could be feeling like, this is how I used to feel. Like, man, I can't climb the ladder because this is who I am and I don't know anybody and nobody is really accepting of me. It was a mindset. Plus, I was not following the Lord. So in the world, it's very, very hard. You're thinking, man, I got to know people. I don't know anybody. I'm at the bottom of the totem pole or whatever. But like I said, when you're committing it to the Lord, he can open doors, put you in opportunities, all kinds of things in ways that you just can't do and really people can't do for you. So commit your works to the Lord and your plans will be established. Well, what does that mean? So the word established here means set up or made ready or prepared. So saying if you commit your works to the Lord, he will prepare your ways. He will make your ways ready. He will prepare your ways. Sorry, I keep saying the same thing. But anyway, so he will prepare your ways, your plans. And so, and understanding of kind of what that looks like, we can look at Isaiah 43:19. Isaiah 43:19 says, behold, I will do something new. Now it will spring forth. Will you not be aware of it? I will even make a roadway in the wilderness, rivers in the desert. So that means, okay, so think about this. So you're working hard, you're trying, and then you change your perspective, you change your posture, and you begin committing your works to the Lord. You begin doing everything as unto the Lord. You begin trusting the Lord, being faithful to the Lord, following the Lord. And then what happens is in those dry places where it feels like you just can't get ahead, the Lord will put a little stream through there. And what that is that think of the stream as a stream, an opening, an opportunity to make more money, an opportunity to do more. Sometimes the thing about it is you got to be careful with that, because sometimes the stream, the roadway in the wilderness or the rivers in the desert can look like it can look like it's not that big of a deal. It can look like, for example, you know, you have the skill set, you want to be a chef, and so you know, you cook a meal for someone, you know, someone decides they're going to come by your house, and you know, maybe they're a colleague or something, right? And you don't know much about this colleague, but they're a colleague, and you cook this food, let's say a potluck or something, and you think it's nothing, right? But the Lord will open the door, and this person's like, man, you know, I'd love for you to cook this again, or I'd love for you to do this again. And I'm not sure this is a good example, but you would be looking like, I'm not cooking nothing unless you're paying me. But in the kingdom, it's like you kind of sow that first. You kind of do those things first, and you may not get paid, but it'll open up a door for you that will cause you to not only get paid, but get paid in surplus, right? So that's that river in the desert where it was once dry. And I'm saying that to say an opportunity can look many different ways, but don't be misled if it comes your way and it looks like, you know, I think a good example of that would be someone who goes into an internship. And you know, they're struggling for money, they just don't have it, and they're presented with this opportunity to do an internship that's not paid. So if they're not careful, that opportunity can look like it's not a good opportunity, but it might be the very best opportunity for them. I think a good example of that might be in the movie Pursuit of Happiness, right? And so anyone watching that movie would have been like, dude, are you crazy? You are a grown man, you got a family, your wife out to leave you, and you finna take a unpaid internship, you know? So that kind of thing. And so when it says, you know, he will make a roadway in the wilderness, that is him establishing your plans. That's him establishing your plans. So when you commit your works to the Lord, he sees that faithfulness, and he begins to establish your plans by making a roadway in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. I am a living witness of this process, of how the Lord does this. For the person who is speculating and on the sideline and not really doing anything, is just not getting in the game and watching everyone else exceed in life and surpass where they've come from. You know, some of those people came from the same place you came from, and so that opens the door to say, okay, well, if they came from the same place I came from, you know, here's the thing. When you grow up with a group of people, you know, maybe at one point in time it looked like they had everything, right? And then you grow up and things change, and then for some reason someone else rises up, right? And then everyone else is kind of still in that same place that they were in when you were growing up. Well, the thing about it is those people who have been doing the very same things all this time, they're not growing. You're not growing. You're not getting better. You're not trying new things. You're watching everyone else succeed. The Lord is saying you need to get in the game. The one thing you don't want to do is wait until you're an older person. When you have all this energy now, you're a young person. And not that you can't do it as an older person, but if you are young right now, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you just do everything that you can right now? And so, see you. And so, for you, the Lord is saying, you know, in Proverbs 14:23, it says, this is a couple of scriptures. The first one I'll say is Proverbs 12:11. It says, he who tills his land will have plenty of bread, but he who pursues worthless things lacks sense. So the person who tills their land, tilling in this word, it means to serve or to honor. So the person who is serving and honoring the place where they're working. In this particular instance, it's land, but your land may be your corporate job. Your land may be your daycare center, or your land may be your children. Whatever that is, he who honors his land and not despise it is the one who will have plenty of bread. Bread meaning plenty of food, or plenty. There's no lack there because you have plenty of everything that you need. That bread is signifying a need, and you have plenty of what you need, right? And so, another scripture for you is Proverbs 14:23, and it says, in all labor there is profit, but mere talk leads only to poverty. And so if you are because sometimes, you know, you do a lot of talking about what you want to do and the things that you'd like to have, and you do all this talking, and then, but you're not actually working towards anything. And then think of somebody who's just totally unemployed, who could be working and is not working, who could be doing more than what they're doing, and they're just simply not doing it. And so they talk a lot about what they're going to do and how they're going to do it, and that's one thing. But then they're presented with an opportunity to work, and maybe that work may look like an $8 an hour job or a $10 an hour job, and you're looking at it and you're despising it, but the reality of it is it's something that could help you to get where it is that you want to be. And so in all labor there is profit. Profit here means advantage or benefit. So even the smallest of a job, right, it is can be an advantage or a benefit, especially if you are committing your works to the Lord. Especially if you're doing that, if you are committing your works to the Lord, then not only will your labor produce advantage or benefit, but the Lord will prepare your ways, right? So we have to just kind of change perspective. So whichever end of the spectrum you're on, the core thing to understand is that you need to be connected to the source, and God is the source at the end of the day. And so it's like your phone. And it's like your phone charger or cord or whatever, and then it's like the wall, or let's say a television, the cord, and then the wall. Well, you're the phone, and you can't charge the phone without the cord, and that's Jesus, right? And then even with Jesus has to be connected into God, and he's always connected into God. And so when you're connected to the source, a good example of this is also in John 15, which is one of my favorite chapters. Man, I got a lot of favorite chapters, but anyways, that's one of them. And so with that one, in John 15, it explains it very well when Jesus says that I am the vine and you are the branches. So he's the vine, he's connected to the main source, the main vine, and you're the branches that's connected to him. And so he's connected to the main source, and you're connected to him, and everything that he has, you have. So if he has power, you have power. If he has ability, you have ability. If he has prosperity or abundance, so do you. And so somebody may be thinking, well, there's plenty of people out there that's rich, and they don't serve the Lord. They don't follow God. Some of them don't even know God. They don't even have a relationship with God. But I think the misconception is what is prosperity? You think that prosperity is only riches, meaning financial gain. Then you're being misled, because with prosperity comes a prosperous soul. First of all, 3 John 1 and 2. It comes a prosperous soul, and then as your soul prospers, everything prospers. What else is there other than financial prosperity? Well, if we look at the fruit of the Spirit, we see love, joy, peace, endurance, all of the kindness, meekness, all of these things. Well, all of these are part of all of that is part of the prosperity. That's where you prosper first in your soul. So one of those things that you have is the peace. And so the thing about it is that it's why you can have someone who is so rich, and you wonder, well, how can they kill themselves? How could they do this? I think a good example of this was, I forgot what the guy's name with the stock market, the hedge fund or whatever, and all these rich people got played. I don't know exactly everything that happened, but the sad part about it is many of these people killed themselves. Now, they lost a lot of money, okay, fine, but they didn't lose enough to whereas it was enough to take your own life. And so that's what I mean by, like, if that person's soul had been prospered in the Lord, there's no way, because you can understand just by looking at Job that whatever you lose, you can get back 10 times, 100 times more with the Lord, and sometimes even faster. So especially if what has happened to you is an injustice, and you have been robbed, right? And the Lord hates that. And so if one of his children has been robbed, you can prosper so much more from that, right? So that is not a reason to kill yourself. So that's what I mean. Those men that killed themselves were lacking the fruit of the Spirit. Their soul was not prospered. Why? Because they were not connected to the source. So you have to be connected to the source. And there are rich people out there who love the Lord, and they had that peace, they have that joy, they have that kindness, that meekness, they have those things which are essential, and you must have those things first. And so it says, I wish, beloved, that you may prosper even as your soul prospers. So the prosperity happens first in your soul, and then it pours out into every other area of your life. And does it happen quickly with the Lord? It can and it cannot. It depends on the person. Is the person ready for quick prosperity? Is their character developed? Do they have integrity, or are they lacking integrity? The Lord isn't going to kill you. Prosperity financially can kill you if you are not prepared for it. So the Lord is very good about preparing his children to receive all the things that he wants to give you, and he gives it to you in levels as you grow and you develop with him. And so one of the things that you have to understand is this process of working and committing your works to the Lord, and it requires not only discipline, but it requires endurance. These days it seems like everybody is so quick to give up on things, but you can't be so quick to give up. You have to try, you have to keep going, because sometimes it may look like you're not winning, but you keep going at it and you will. And so I wish I had a scripture for that. I wasn't, that kind of just is I'm just flowing right now, but that's what I mean. I mean, you want to make sure that you're prospering in your soul, and then get the prosperity that comes, the external material and things like that. And you want to make sure you follow in the Lord, because you want to make sure that you're ready for it, that you're prepared to receive it, that you're prepared to do what needs to be done with it. And the other thing that you have to understand is that when the Lord builds you up and the Lord gives you riches, let's say not just not even just in your soul, but financial riches, both of those things you have to give to other people. If your soul is prospered, you have to give all the fruit of your spirit. When people take a bite of you, and when I say that, when people experience you, they should be able to partake in the fruit of the Spirit. They should be able to partake in it. Is it sweet or is it bitter when they experience you? When they experience talking to you or meeting you, is it bitter or is it sweet? Now, granted, there may be certain times where you might be caught off guard and it's just not a bad day. That's a human thing. That can happen. But ultimately, overall, is when a person experiences you, is it sweet or is it bitter? That's the thing about it. And so you want to make sure that, and I don't know why I said that, I lost my train of thought, but anyway, so you want to make sure you're prospering internally and externally. And internally, that is for other people. Externally, financial riches and things like that. It's not just for you, it is for other people. And so in I think 1 Corinthians 8:9 or 9:8, it's 1 Corinthians or 2 Corinthians, it kind of talks about being generous, you know, and how that reflects on the person who is being generous. So anyways, you can find a lot of that, but that was pretty much the extent of my message. Just wanted to kind of bring that to you to say, you know what, whatever position you're in, bring it back full circle. You need to just commit your life to the Lord, commit everything, that whatever you do to the Lord, and then don't just talk, but be a doer. And instead of telling everybody all these things you want to do, maybe just hush. Right? And just take the little steps that need to be taken, and not despising it. Honor the little steps that you will take and that you do take. Honor those and understand that there's advantage and benefit for those things. Amen. Amen. So I pray that you have a wonderful day. And I just pray that this, if you do watch this and it is you that I'm talking to, I just pray that you get some benefit even from this message, and that it encourages you, because the reality of it is you can do it. You don't have to just let life pass you by. You know, there's so many ways to live. You can be living in your purpose, and don't think it's too late, because the reality of it is the Lord can do such a great work in you that it will put you right where you would have been had you done it all right in the beginning. It's a way where he can put you right where you need to be, which is where you would have been had you been following him. So don't be discouraged about how much time has passed. If you have education or if you don't have education, if you think you have abilities or you don't worry about that, because at the end of the day, each and every one of us has gifts and abilities, every single one of us. And if you're not connected to the source, you may not know that. Okay. So anyways, I love you dearly. Have a wonderful day. I got to go eat and get to work, but you'll hear from me again, probably Friday. By the way, please pray for me and Minister Nikki and the conference and the pastor. We're going to Uganda on Friday, and so that's just the first assignment that the Lord has given me this year. And so we'll be going to Uganda Friday the 8th, and we'll return on the 16th. And so that's the first assignment. The second assignment for me will be Haiti in May. And that I'll be there for 5 days, and I'll be there partnered with the medical missions team doing work in Haiti like we did last year. And then the third assignment that I know of right now will be Ethiopia in October. If any of you are interested in partnering or going with us on the medical missions, with the medical missions team, you can certainly do that. Now's the time to register. Just reach out to me. I can give you the info to register for the Ethiopia trip that's coming up in October. And I think that's about a 10-day trip, and it's a blessing. So if you ever thought about traveling or doing missions and taking things overseas, you can certainly partner with us to do that. And so again, just reach out to me and let me know, and I can help you get connected in that way. And then other than that, yeah, just keep us in your prayers. We're going into a new environment, one that we've never been to before. And so many times when you go into new environments, you know, you can experience changes. And so we just ask that you pray for each and every one of us. Pray for the conference, the pastor who's hosting us. Pray for, you know, just our accommodations. Pray for our health. Pray, you know, that people are brought to Christ, and just pray for the other ministers and pastors that will be speaking in this conference. And so yeah, and if you have any questions, you know, let me know. If you want to support us on this mission or any mission that we go on, you can certainly do that. You can go to rossministries.org/giving, and you can help support us. Many times people can't go for whatever reason. You have children, you have responsibilities with work, you have too much of a workload, and you may not be able to go, but you want to be a part of a great thing. You can help send us, and we'll go and do the work and do everything that we need to do. And so you can certainly give in that way, and we would certainly appreciate it. Okay. All right. Well, anyways, have a wonderful rest of your day. I love you dearly. Take care. Bye.